What's going on, people? We've got the internet back fully. Sammy's hotspot is not hotspotting anymore. I think his phone's gone in some ice to cool down. We've managed to start this on time. We've had to catch a breath. Tottenham 3, Atletico Madrid 2. What a game, Iggy. What a game.
Listen, it's what we've always asked for of our team, you know, to put a fight every minute of the game, and put a performance out there that the boys themselves first and foremost can be proud of, the manager can be proud of, and the fans watching in the stadium and all over the world can look at it. You know what? Tonight, yes, we didn't get through to the next round of the Champions League, but we won, playing well, and deserved, and in the very end, deserved to win the actual game. And that will breed that on top of the the good performance and result that we picked up away at Anfield. A win, something that we haven't seen a lot of White Hart Lane this season. A win tonight will set us up nicely and will bring us into the weekend game against Forest with a lot more confidence. And they will take confidence in tonight's performance, in the way that they played in the front foot, in the goals that they scored. All right, we had opportunities to go and maybe even win the tie, but they can be proud of the way they performed tonight. Where was this Spurs team been? Where's this Spurs team been? Yeah. But you know what? If this is what it is going to be like to the end of the season, we give ourselves a fighting chance of staying up this season.
Look, 100%. I think, no one... For me, that was the most enjoyable game of football I think we've seen, not only this year, not only this season, but in the past few seasons. The team were together, the fans were with the players, they showed fight, they had the desire. We didn't let we'll go through everything that kind of happened in the game in a minute, but just the desire that we had to come back from arguably what should have been or could have been a foul to then go and get that goal. But those players ran their socks off tonight. The first goal obviously was massively important in the tie. Great work by Archie Gray in the midfield. Plays it into Xavi. Xavi plays it to Moani. Then they fly it back to Xavi. Xavi across. Sorry, that's the second. That was the one that Tell missed. Tell for the press got the ball in box from the press, and then Moani bottom corner. Excellent. Then we had a chance to get the second one. And that's what I mean. Great interlinking play from Grail to Xavi to Moani to Xavi back to Tell. And he just chose the wrong option. He either had to, like you said, he had to smash it through the laces or square it because Gray and Moani were there. Yeah. And then, we
had a couple other situations where the goalkeeper, Johan Musso, who was replacing Oblak, actually had a really good match. Yeah, he made some very important saves in that first half, and we could have gone into the 2-0 up, which would have set us up for the second half in a different way. But instead, not taking those opportunities that we created, playing good football leading up to those points, but the last decision made, the last spool wasn't always the right one. That left Atletico Madrid into the game at 1-0 up. We were saying, look, we need to come out the second half, out of the blocks, and try and get the second. Yeah. But what happened 2 minutes later? They were the one that equalised, and that is the problem at this level of football. This is the best competition in club football, and against good teams, if you don't take your opportunities when you're on top, you're guaranteed that they will create one. And good teams with good forwards, very good forwards, like we saw in Alvarez tonight. Mate, he was top drawer. He only needed one bite only, and he's put that top bins. That's made it 1-1, and that took the wind a bit out of us. I have to say, was worried it was going to go the other way, and it could have gone the other way because we had our goalkeeper has had to make a couple.
Yeah,
of
Vicario. That shot.
Deflected off Romero.
Deflected off Romero right at the end of the, towards the end of the first half. I mean, just incredible. They slow-moed it down. I actually don't think that did it justice. No. Excellent from then, but we didn't let that goal affect us. Xavi Simons, who for me, between hit, obviously he got 2 goals tonight, between him and Archie Gray for man of the match.
The equaliser was partly his fault for Liverpool. I don't know, he got, maybe it was arguably, was it a foul, was it not a foul? But he got bodied off the ball. Counter-attack led to Alvarez's the equaliser. But he reacted well from that. It could have gone the other way. It probably normally would have gone the other way. But he's flipped that, and like you were just about to say, he was involved in a great goal, man.
Yeah,
really
great goal. Just pinged it, started it outside the post, and it just curled back in. Keeper had no chance, and we're back in it again. And then we're doing things, and then all of a sudden, we're just getting we were getting a little bit sloppy. Yellow card after yellow card after yellow card. We let what happened with the equaliser affect us, I think.
Well, the Lookman incident, that for me, that's a big moment because we had about two players got booked. Ricardo got booked. Yeah, Tudor got booked, and Porro got booked, all on that incident. So a situation where that should have been looked at, in my opinion, because whether he struck him, whether he punches someone or he hits him in the hand or the open palm, I don't care. That's a violent conduct. How that doesn't get looked at, that's the big moment of the match. It goes our way. He gets sent off. We're on the front foot there. But he stays on the pitch. Got a couple of our players booked because, you know, it should have been looked at for sure. But that said, he stays on the pitch. And they get the equaliser.
Yeah, and it's that man Alvarez again who pulled all the strings for Atletico tonight. Corner comes in.
Great ball in the box.
Sarr misses his man. Gray can't react quick enough, and it's 2-2. And then the heads go down. We go quiet. The crowd goes quiet. But the most important thing is, and what we were saying is, we take momentum. We take this performance to finish on a draw tonight. Would have felt like a loss and would have felt like a hammer blow going into Sunday.
Team wanted to win tonight, regardless of the overall score. They wanted to go and win, and they pushed right to the end. And in the very end, we got a penalty, which is a stonewall penalty. I don't think there was a single argument of a penalty. Little great Olusesi, was it? And Xavi did a little 1-2. Xavi goes past his man, gets taken down by Jimenez, and then he's got the opportunity to make it 3-2, and he dispatched that penalty brilliantly.
Yeah, and look, it wasn't a penalty for the second one for Colin.
No.
He dived.
Alive, it looked like it.
Alive, yeah. So
no, you're right. You're right.
And then Mawani had a chance, and it was just so near, but so far. I just think that what we did or didn't do in Madrid last Tuesday was ultimately the downfall. Because actually, if we'd played like that last week, we'd probably be going through.
Someone in the chat has just said European home record still intact.
Yeah, it is.
That's a simple line.
Only team to be undefeated.
And how long that's going to be gone for, because we're not going to be in the Champions League next season. So we don't know when we're going to be in the Champions League again. So at the very least, to finish it off, to finish our campaign this season with a 3-2 win. A win's a win, and we haven't had many of those.
It's our first win in 2026. It's the 18th of March. It's Tudor's first win.
And we have to go. We have to go into Nottingham Forest now more confident. On the back of Liverpool, you can see what that draw did for us going into this game. Now, if we could take this win and performance, most importantly, it has to be highlighted, the performance, the intensity, the pressing, the working together as a unit, defending, attacking together. We take that into the Forest game on Sunday at home, in front of the fans, the loud fans tonight.
Yeah.
They're going to be there again on Sunday, because now they're going to go in a belief thinking, you know what? This is the team that we want to see. This is the team that we hope to see every game this season, fighting to the very end. Because I believe that if you fight, play together as a unit, attack and defend together, you will get results. Yeah. And those results couldn't come any faster. And that has to start by the 6-pointer that awaits for us on Sunday against Forest.
It's absolutely massive. Look, for me, I don't think Romero and Van der Ven were good in patches, but you know, it's the same old Romero getting involved, being so hot-headed and everything else. You know, Van der Ven getting skinned. Look, still all these things.
He made a couple of good challenges as well. I have to say,
which he did. But games are won in moments, and there was too many moments that I think over the 2 ties that went against Spurs in the first leg with the slips and everything else.
We've ruined it.
But also tonight with Lookman, the foul on Xavi. Look, those are the moments that change games. We know it's not going to be like the Premier League. In the Premier League, that's probably a foul given on Xavi. The ref was letting the game flow as much as he could. But there was certainly a bit of between the first half and the second half. He was given stuff in the first half that he wasn't given stuff in the second half. So there was
a lot of inconsistency. There was a lot of inconsistency from the referee, but I felt there was inconsistencies in the way he was refereing both teams. You know, he was refereeing one team one way, and he was refereeing the other in another. Look, I don't want to put this too much on the referee. I don't want to say that this was completely decided by the referee. I just felt that he was refereeing 2 different teams, as in what he was letting Atletico Madrid get away with. We was getting yellow carded for. You know, the similar sort of fouls. One would result in yellow cards, the other one wasn't, and that's the 2 methods that he was using against both teams. Like I said, he didn't overall. He didn't influence or hurt us but he did make some really strange decisions. Like I said, especially when it came to yellow cards. I don't think maybe 2 of those were yellow cards, but the rest of them weren't yellow cards in my opinion.
And look, for me, I think Xavi Simons and Archie Gray probably had the best game in a Spurs
Very positive.
Both of them were very positive. They've left everything out there, and that's all we've been asking for weeks and weeks and weeks, is to show a bit of fight, show some effort. I mean, we had so many chances. I mean, if we just go into the stats of the game, we had let's just bring them up now. We had 18 shots, 11 on target. You know, and Atletico only had 6. They had the same amount of shots, but only 6 on target. So,
we don't listen. This team is clear that with all the forwards that we got, we don't have killers up front. We don't have an out-and-out killers. Maybe the most prolific one, if you want to call him that, maybe Solanke. But he wasn't there tonight, so that Richarlison wasn't available, and we know already Colomwani. He will score a goal, but he will miss 3 chances.
Yeah.
Tell, I thought, was very positive. I said it right at half time. He was one of our most positive attackers in that first half. But it's that final decision making, that final ball, that final strike, that final moment where to convert that chances that he's probably created himself. Doesn't have that in his locker as yet. But the bits, they're creating a bit, taking a man on. It was very positive in that, particularly in the first half. I thought he was one of our better players.
Yeah.
In the second half, both he and Colomwani had died down, and that's where, and obviously the pressing wasn't as rightly so, because after 78 minutes of pressing for the whole game, you're going to run out of steam. And the players that were coming on, a lot of them would come back from injury. So the intensity wasn't as high. So therefore, we dropped off when we really needed it most in that last 15 minutes. But having said that, man, having said all of that, it's night and day from what we've been seeing and what we've been sitting through for a lot of these games this season.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing that we have to take is that fight. You have to take the fight, man, every single match and every single minute. So we shall see what the next game brings, man.
Exactly. So look, it's your chance to have your say shortly. Be interested to see how you thought today went. Super chat here from Michael